Bienvenidos, Ushamdi, and welcome Anne Arundel Community College learners from the Spring 2023 semester taking the CTS-233 Section 400 Network Programmability course. This is the Cisco Networking Academy's DEVASC 200-901 Certification Exam Preparation course, and in this video tutorial supplement on Lab 6.5.10, as promised, here is a web front end for the Python Flask web app. And here's what you're going to learn. I'm going to show you how everything is laid out. I'm going to show you that I've already uploaded this to my GitHub repo. I'm going to show you how you can clone and get a copy of everything you see here so that then you could go ahead and work on the file. All right, well, let's go ahead and dive in. So first things first, I created a little web directory here. If I say git status, everything is under git control for software version control here. So the tree is clean. Everything has been committed. We're good to go there. So what does this application and this web front end consist of? Well, it's very, very simple. We've got a web2-solution Python file. Now that Python file, as you might expect, that is going to contain all of our Python code that's going to fire up this Flask web app. Now, I'm not going to go line by line. I did that in the previous video, but if we take a look at this, some of the differences are going to be a little bit further down here is when we start to render templates. Now, these are the HTML files that have been created, and you might be wondering, okay, well, I don't see any HTML files. Well, remember with Flask that if I say ls static, that by default, Flask is going to look for the style.css file in the static directory, in the same directory in which the web application is started up here, this Python script, and then the same is true for the HTML files. It's going to look by default down into the templates directory. And again, here's the structure. So I've got my Python Flask web app script, and then I've got two directories, static and templates. The static directory has all of my, well, I should just say my CSS file, and then my templates directory has all of my HTML files. And so when I refer to these files, when I try to render them, when something happens in that Python Flask web app, this is where it's going to look by default. So super convenient. Again, remember, Flask is not something for production, but guess what? You already know how to use Ansible to stand up an Apache web server and flip the port to 8081. So you can think about how might you do that with this Python app. So again, or with an Apache web server, sorry. So again, here are all of the files you're going to need. I've already pushed all of these files to my GitHub repo. So in order for you to download all of the HTML, all of the CSS, and the Python script, which is 100% functional, here's all you would have to do. So I'm on my iMac here, which is not where we have the web app stuff. If you can see here, I've got nothing in this directory. So if I was to say git clone https://, and this is the command that you would run to get all these files. I've also placed it in the comment section below. github.com/Travis P. Bonfili / and it's Python dash, not sample, dash password. And hopefully I didn't mess that up. In fact, let me cruise back here just to make sure we get that. So Python dash password dash web dash app dot get. And that is auto-magically going to clone that GitHub repo right onto your box right now. Remember, you need to have Git in order to do that. But let's say ls-lai, we're going to see a single directory in here now, which is the name of the GitHub repo. We cd into there, type a little git status. You're up to date, right? So all I'd have to do now is just say ls-lai, and there it is. Everything that you need to run exactly what I'm getting ready to run right now. And so from that point on, you could go ahead and make changes to things, add, modify, delete, enhance, whatever the case may be, but you've got a copy of everything that I've got going here with this Python web app. So let's see what this looks like when we fire it up. And so I'll fire it up in this window right here. We simply say Python 3 and, whoops, sorry. Let me make sure I get it right. Yeah. So we're going to say Python 3 and web2solution.py, and we want to see the logs here. Now, I've got it running on port 5555, and I'm going to change that. We'll change the port. We'll do a git commit on the local GitHub repository, and then I'll push that up to my GitHub repository. So when you go to do your git clone, you're going to have it running on port 7777. That's what we'll change it to. All right, so it's running. How do we access it? Well, remember, I've got a DB browser here. There is no database in that web directory yet, and that is because we have not created it by running the web interface. So let's go to https://localhost:5555. Let's hit refresh, and we'll go to advanced and we'll say, yep, take us on through. And so here is that interface. And again, if you clone my GitHub repo, you're going to get this so that you can, if you don't like this color scheme, you can go ahead and change it. All right, so let's go ahead and play around with this for a second. So I'm going to say, oops, sorry, spell my name right there. Let's say Travis, and I'll put in here for my password, Travis, PASSWD, and I'll click sign up. All right, so you can see we've enhanced it, right? Now we get this splash screen that says sign up successful, and there's a link here to go back to the main page, which again, these are things that we didn't have originally. So let me check to see, is Travis going to be able to log in? So let's test the login capabilities, PASSWD. We'll click save. Login success. So we know that that username password combo exists in our SQLite database. Let's go back to the main page. Again, now let's go ahead and sign up for a hashed password. So I'll just say Travis. Password is going to be Travis, PASSWD. I'm going to click sign up. Everything works. Click back here to go to the main page, and let's run it again. Username, Travis. Let's test and make sure that we can log in using that hashed password. And Travis, PASSWD. I think I might have typoed that. Okay, good. All right, so then let's click back. So how can I confirm that in addition to seeing that it was working, that my database is doing what it's supposed to be doing? Well, let's click on our browser here. I'll click Open Database, and there it is, webtest.db, because that's the name of the database that we created when we ran our script and actually went to sign up. So if I click Open, what do we got? Well, we got the two tables that we would expect to see. We've got the user underscore hash table and the user underscore plain table, which keep our username and password combos. Now let's take a look at the data here. So here's the hashed password, hashed password, sorry about that. And there you can see it's SHA-256, so there's our hash. Let's take a look at our plain text. There it is, Travis, PASSWD. So you now have, if you've cloned this GitHub repo, you now have a fully functional web front end to this Python Flask web app application that allows you to create a database, store username and password combinations. And the last thing that we'll look at is our log. And here it is. Shows that Travis signed up with a plain text password, right? That version 1 page that it took us to. And then we signed up with the hash password, that SHA-256 hash. And then you can see we even went back. We did the login by posting our login information. All right, so that was pretty cool. So now all you need to do is clone the GitHub repo. Again, the command to do that is in the description below. It's also in the video a few times. And so if you clone it, you're going to get all the HTML, you're going to get the CSS, you're going to get the Python file, and you can just go to town deconstructing it, add, change, delete, modify, extend, whatever the case may be. All right, well, let me know in the comments below if you like this, if this was pretty cool, and if you'd like to see more videos that sort of extend the functionality to something where it's like, oh, okay, well, I could see doing this, but I need a web interface, right? And so we would throw that web interface on there. All right, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.